Silence Audio presents The Memory of You by Jamie Beck, performed by Dara Rosenberg. Preface. Dear reader, thank you for picking up this book. I've been looking forward to introducing you to Sanctuary Sound and the circle of friends known as the Lilac Lane League for some time. The idea for this series came about after watching the news, following the devastating explosion at the concert of a singer in England. I remember thinking about how easily my own teenagers could fall victim to a similar incident. That led me to wondering about how victims and their families survive such events, and how different people might respond to trauma. Thus began the seeds of the stories for Steffi, Claire, and Peyton, each of whom has her own trauma to overcome. Steffi is one of the toughest, most resilient heroines I've ever written, and while her story is a powerful one, it certainly comes out of a place of darkness. In my research for this tale, I was not only taken aback by the staggering number of women who are sexually assaulted in the United States every year, but I was also struck by some minds' powerful reactions to such trauma. While I consulted a number of sources and 2 psychologists to construct this plot, I am not a psychologist, and it is possible that I have misinterpreted some of what I learned, so I own those mistakes. As this is ultimately intended to be a hopeful story about learning to ask for help and facing one's fears, I've taken some liberties for the purpose of storytelling. If you are interested in learning more about these topics, I've included a list of some research materials I reviewed at the end of this book. In Steffi Lockwood, I hope I've done credit to all the women who have suffered trauma and bravely battle each day to reclaim their lives and decide what will define them. Regards, Jamie Beck. Chapter 1. Never regret anything that once made you happy. The deathbed advice imparted years ago by her mother had comforted Steffi in the wake of many mistakes. Today those words drifted back as she turned down Echo Hill Lane, the narrow, tree-lined cul-de-sac where her next appointment and many happy memories lived. Then again, that old lesson didn't quite apply to her current predicament, because her regret had nothing to do with the time she'd spent here with Ryan Quinn and his family.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?